Hi, this is Nick from MYOB, and in today's session we're going to be looking at inventory in MYOB Advanced Business. We're going to be covering stock and non-stock items. We're going to be having a look at automated replenishment. Then we're going to have a little look at kit assemblies, multiple warehouses and locations. And then the final part of today's presentation is in regards to predefined stock takes. We have two sections to do with stock and non-stock items. Now the main part in terms of stock items that we're going to be looking at is we're going to be firstly looking at the ability here under posting classes. Now this actually allows you to specify what general ledger codes these stock items will be posted against. The next thing we have as well is we have a lot and serial class. Now this will allow you to specify how they are receipted in or even how they are shipped out, and it allows you to have full traceability based upon either serial tracking or based upon lot numbers. Now when it comes to warehousing, if I just move across to the next stock item, you can predefine which warehouses will be the default settings for these stock items. So in this case it's whole perch 1, and you can even specify what locations you're going to receipt into or even issue from. Now when it comes to how you actually buy these in, we do have multiple units of measure and conversion properties, so I can stock these for the base unit as boxes, but if I buy in, for example, I can actually buy in a tin and it will then convert for me and put in 90 boxes into the system. In terms of pricing, we have the ability to actually set up a price manager or even a price work group, and that means that they have to authorize pricing, and this is one major part of advanced business, is the ability to have pending prices and even set up pending price dates so you can have staggered pricing. Now when it comes to sales prices, you can set up multiple price classes, so different base prices as such for selling. You can even set up different customer prices, but you could also have a very comprehensive pricing matrix which is in the sales order and customer side of things. On the flip side, when it comes to vendor pricing, you can actually set up multiple vendors per stock item. Now you can either do this adding them individually, or you can actually upload them via a spreadsheet in the purchase order side of the system. With replenishment, you can actually set up whether you're going to replenish via purchasing or replenish via transfer. You can incorporate minimum and maximum levels, and you can even incorporate seasonality if you wish. Based upon that, you can set up safety stock levels and reorder points. So your reorder point in this instance is what your minimum level will be before it prompts you to actually replenish, and your maximum quantity is the top level of how much you need to stock. Now this can all be automated, as I mentioned before, via the automation process within Advanced Business, and it means that it can generate either transfer requests or even purchase orders. Now the next thing I'm just going to go on to is just to do with kits. Now with kits, I've got one here that shows you that we can actually set up different variations of kits. So we can have one kit but with multiple variations. Now in this case, the one that I've got selected is highlighting that we can add in stock components and also non-stock components. Now when you're adding in stock components or non-stock components, you can specify minimum or maximum component quantities used to build, so you can fluctuate how many you need. You can also specify whether you can substitute the component or even allow the addition of a component. So when it comes to warehousing, you can set up multiple warehouses within the system, and you can actually pre-assign them to the different branches of your system as well. In each of the warehouses, you can set up multiple locations or bin codes if you're used to that. Now, what that means as well is it means that for each bin code, you can specify whether or not you allow sales or receipts or even transfers. You can specify whether you have an item that relates to that location, and you can even set up a validation warning. So if you try and receipt something into that area, then it will tell you that only this stock item can actually be receipted in. You can then add those locations, as we saw before, to different stock items, but you can also add them into the different defaults. So we have a receiving location, a shipping location, a returns location, and even a dropship location. Now, when it comes to the stock take side of things, the stock takes can actually be predefined based on different generation methods. So in this case, we actually have by item class. So this means that I can set up a warehouse or just leave that blank. But it means that because I've selected this, I can now put in an item class ID, and it then does the stock take for that item class. I could also select by inventory, so I could list different stock items, or I could actually put in ABC codes or movement classes, or even put in a cycle and bring through the products based upon that. The other thing that I can do as well is I have a warehouse specified on here, and from that warehouse I could then add in locations, so I only specify certain locations that are going to be counted. Thanks very much for listening.